Cardinal Strathcona, I would ask how fortune smiles upon you these days, but I know fate has dealt us a cruel blow. The death of my mentor and your colleague, Thu, has left us bereft of a dear friend and valued companion of the Sabbath. You once asked me if Montreal was still the city of black miracles, and laughed at my hesitation when I could not answer. I fear not that whatever answer I may have formed since those days have been undermined by deliberate attempts to shroud the truth. The death of Thou merely brought certain issues to the fore in the dark time after my induction into the Sabbath. Many were relieved to have weathered the storm. I know now that we merely stood in its eye. We in Montreal are about to cast back into the capricious nightmare. Those death, I suspect, was only an amen of things to come. When I was asked to tend to my mentor's remains and belongings, I approached the matter with trepidation. Though could do no wrong in my eyes, and I feared, perhaps subconsciously, that assuming such a task would only prove that it did indeed fall to the ultimate weakness. Yet I steeled myself to what had to be done and discovered an odd comfort in the act of sorting through his belonging, that is, when I discovered his codes. As you well know, Zoe was fond of artwork, particularly Taoist-influenced pieces. He was quite adept at painting landscapes, applying a balanced approach to the dynamics of nature. He even taught me how to interpret paintings, not as reproduction, but as symbolic representation. I now suspect that he was not grooming me to appreciate Chinese artwork, but tutoring me in how to decipher an intricate code should any harm befall him. In sorting through those paintings, I came across an art pad filled with Montreal's landscape pointed in the Taoist manner. I immediately noticed that the piece was subtly imbalanced. The yin and yang of features and animals were stilted. Harmony was skewed. At first, I wondered if this had been Thu's early failed attempt to perfect his craft, but the style of his brushstrokes suggested more recent work. Whether it was inspiration or luck, something in his pieces urged me to visit the sites Zu had depicted in his paintings. It was some time before the first mystery revealed itself to me. His paintings, true to his lessons, were not actual representations, but the pieces of a Taoist map. Thus, it was through the paintings that I discovered the first of the ledgers that Zu had hidden in the city. Some time ago, my friend made a discovery that he shared only with the pages that he wrote upon. He broke the code to the ramblings of Jacob the Glitch, the Tremere anti-tribute who is regularly given to vision and speaking in tongues. My gifted mentor had somehow discovered a way to translate Jacob's Babylonian blather. How that must have frightened him, but despite any apprehension he may have felt, Zu recorded the Tremere's words in his ledger and hid them so that no one would know the terrible truth he learned. I do not know what to do, Cardinal. I know more books are hidden in the city, but I have been reticent to retrieve them. Some force shadows my every step. I cannot evade it. I can't confront it, but I know that harm will soon befall me. Upon awakening, I know that my lair has been disturbed while I slumbered. I have taken to resting in the communal heaven, but I fear its walls are not protection against an untimely end. It has taken me a century to acquire the ledgers that I now possess. Should I be destroyed, they may go unseen for all time. I can't relate to the information that I have learned. It is too complex and important to be discussed so casually. We thought the Camarilla to be the greatest threat to our sect. It is not. I am in need of immediate protection. I no longer trust those around me. Those murderer walks among them, and I suspect is the very same person who wishes to visit harm upon me. Please do not hesitate on this matter. I have hidden the paintings and books that I have recovered thus far. The Sabbath cannot afford to be ignorant of this collected gospel. You once asked me if Montreal was still the city of black miracles. Now, I can only mourn in response. It is blacker than you think. A letter from an unidentified Knight to Cardinal Strathcona.